Captain Kale Voss stared at the holographic display, his face a mask of profound bewilderment. Before him, the shimmering blue sphere of a gas giant dominated the viewport, its swirling clouds a canvas of impossible beauty. Below it, a tiny, desolate moon orbited like a dead marble. This was not the objective. This was not even the correct star system. A routine patrol, a miscalculation in a hyperspace fold, and now they were here, adrift in the uncharted void of the Viridian expanse. The bridge crew of the USS Janitor, a name that had caused more snickers than respect, shifted nervously. The ship was a relic, a hand-me-down from the Earth Defense Force, its primary purpose serving as a mobile garbage scow for a forgotten asteroid mining colony. Its weapons were outdated, its shields were barely adequate, and its captain was a man whose greatest military achievement had been organizing an incredibly successful bake sale. The comms officer, a fresh-faced kid named Jenkins, turned from his console, his voice trembling. "Captain, we're being hailed. It's a lot of them." On the main screen, the void filled with shapes. Sleek, obsidian black vessels, their surfaces polished to a mirror sheen, glided into formation around the Janitor. They were avian in design, sharp and predatory, like obsidian hawks forged by a god of war. A voice, cold and precise, crackled through the speakers, translated instantly into English. "Unidentified vessel. You have trespassed into sovereign territory of the Ethelgard Imperium. Identify yourself and state your purpose." Kale Voss, captain of the USS Janitor, felt a cold sweat prickle at his neck. He looked at his crew, at the blinking lights of a ship held together by hope and prayer, and then back at the screen. He said, his voice sounding small even to his own ears. "This is Captain Kale Voss of the Earth Defense Force. We seem to be lost." The silence that followed was heavier than any gravity well. The voice returned, dripping with contempt. "Earth, a primitive, pre-warp civilization. Your presence here is an act of war. Prepare for boarding and execution." The line went dead. Kale Voss slumped in his command chair. "Jenkins," he said, "what's our status?" "Sir, their weapons are powering up. We've got maybe 30 seconds before they open fire. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to live." Kale Voss closed his eyes. This was it. The end. He was going to die in a trash can. He was going to be a footnote in the history of a species that had never even made it to the moon. He opened his eyes. "All right, people," he said, his voice gaining a sliver of its old, pre-bake sale confidence. "Let's give them the Janitor treatment. Jenkins, divert all power to the forward shields. What's the strongest weapon we have?" The garbage compressor, sir. It's designed to compact space debris into dense pellets for recycling." Kale Voss nodded. "Good. Aim it at their lead ship. And rig the ship's intercom to play yakety sax on a loop." A junior officer blinked. "Sir, just do it. Full blast. Let's show these feathered fascists what real chaos looks like." The bridge of the Ethelgard flagship, the Talon of Judgment, was a place of cold, silent discipline. High Admiral Thrain, his feathers a stark white against the dark alloy of the deck, watched the primitive human vessel on his view screen with utter disdain. The humans were a blight, a chaotic, disorganized species that had somehow achieved rudimentary space travel. They were an affront to the natural order, a casteless society where talent and birth were meaningless. The Imperium's mission was to bring order to such chaos, to prune the unworthy from the galactic garden. This human captain, Kale Voss, was a perfect example of their weakness. He was sweating. His crew was fumbling. The ship was a disgrace. Thrain's tactical officer, a younger avian named Vex, spoke up, his voice as sharp as a Talon. "Admiral, the human vessel is powering its forward shields. They are targeting us with their primary, sanitation system." Thrain turned, an eyebrow ridge raised in disbelief. "Sanitation? Explain." "Sensors indicate their weapon is a garbage compression unit, Admiral. They appear to be attempting to fire compacted waste at our hull." Thrain let out a low, rumbling sound that was half growl, half sneer. "Pathetic. They throw garbage at us. Truly, the depths of their barbarism are bottomless. Fire at will. Reduce their vessel to atoms." On the view screen of the Janitor, a beam of coherent energy lanced out from the Talon of Judgment, a brilliant white spear of destruction. It struck the Janitor's forward shields, which flared a defiant, sickly green before collapsing entirely. The beam tore into the hull, shearing through the docking bay doors and venting atmosphere into the vacuum. On the bridge of the janitor, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Cale Voss gripped the arms of his chair, bracing for the end. But it didn't come. Instead, a new sound filled the ship, a jaunty, upbeat saxophone melody that seemed to mock the destruction. On the view screen of the Talon of Judgment, the beam of energy suddenly warped and twisted, pulled off course by an invisible force. It struck a nearby asteroid, which vaporized in a silent, brilliant flash. Thrain stared, his mind refusing to process what he had just seen. "What was that?" he demanded. Vex was frantically tapping at his console. "Admiral, the human vessel. It appears they have deployed some kind of gravitational distortion field. It's incredibly crude, but it's bending our fire." Thrain's feathers bristled. "A crude trick. It changes nothing. Fire again. And this time, target their bridge." The Talon fired again. And again. Each shot was deflected, not by a shield, but by a chaotic, unpredictable wave of gravity that seemed to emanate from the janitor itself. The ship was a mess of duct-taped repairs and jury-rigged systems, and in that mess, a janitor named Barry had accidentally created a device that could bend light and energy. As the yakety sax played on loop, the janitor danced through the Ethelgard fire, a drunken, grinning fool in a room full of angry aristocrats. And it was working. Barry the Wrench Henderson was not a soldier. He was not a tactician. He was a janitor, and a damn good one. He had a sixth sense for finding things that were broken and an uncanny ability to fix them with whatever was lying around. His current project, the Graviton Slingshot, was a masterpiece of improvised engineering. It was built from a salvaged mining drill, 3 coffee makers, the ship's primary waste reclamation unit, and a roll of industrial-grade duct tape that was now holding the universe together. Standing in the middle of the wreckage of the janitor's engineering bay, Barry watched the readouts on his hastily assembled control panel. The Ethelgard ships were still firing, but his little gravity well was batting their shots away like annoying flies. It was working a little too well. The energy was building up, a dangerous, unstable charge in the device's core. "Jenkins," Barry barked into his comm unit. "I need more power. The coffee makers are overheating." "Sir, the main power conduit is severed. We're running on emergency battery power." Jenkins' voice was panicked. Barry swore. He looked around the chaotic room, his eyes landing on a large, humming machine in the corner. "The garbage compressor. Can we reroute power from that?" It's not designed for that kind of output, Barry. It'll blow." "Blow what?" "The ship's already half dead. Just do it." Barry slapped the side of the machine with his wrench, a gesture that had always seemed to work in the past. With a series of loud clangs and sparks, power surged into the Graviton Slingshot. The readouts on Barry's panel spiked into the red. Okay, easy does it," Barry muttered, adjusting a dial with a pair of pliers. "Just gotta balance the woe." The device let out a low groan, and the entire deck shuddered. Outside the viewport, the Ethelgard ships, which had been maintaining their disciplined formation, suddenly lurched. Their shots, once precise, now went wild, one of them striking a friendly vessel and crippling its engines. On the bridge of the Talon of Judgment, High Admiral Thrain stared in disbelief. "Their weapon, it's generating a localized gravitational anomaly. It's disrupting our formation." Vex was sweating, a rare sight for an Ethelgard. "Admiral, their ship is unstable. If we keep firing, we risk a chain reaction that could destroy them and take us with them." Thrain's talons dug into the deck plating. He could not accept this. A primitive, casteless species was defeating the might of the Imperium with a garbage disposal and a song. It was unthinkable. "All ships," he commanded, his voice strained, "cease fire. Maintain position. We will board them manually. Capture the vessel. Capture the captain alive. I want to understand this aberration." The order was given, but the damage was done. The Ethelgard fleet, the pinnacle of galactic order, was now floundering, confused by the chaotic, unpredictable tactics of a janitor and his crew. And in the engineering bay, Barry Henderson grinned. "All right," he said, wiping grease from his forehead. "Now for the fun part. Scene break, arg_value.